So guys, what's up? It is Friday, a beautiful Friday, September 14th. It took me all week to make this video you're about to see, simply because there is no other video on this product. There's not much information online about this product, and it took me a week to put this together, and I hope you guys like it. It's a video review of the Omega Speedmaster Mark 40, and this is about the 22nd anniversary of this watch. The watch in my video was purchased 20 years ago, exactly this year, in 1998. And I figured, you know what, after wearing the watch for 3 years, do a video review on it. To my surprise, there was no information on this watch online, so everything you're about to see is probably your first time on YouTube. Someone did a video review on this watch, a full video review, not like a 30-second clip showing you how to do the chronograph or set the time. Full video review on my impressions. It's not going to be technical. It'll just be a bit into my personal impressions of using the watch, as well as history of the watch, and an unboxing towards the end with lots of lume shots, lots of shots of the watch. So enjoy, guys. Bye. I'm gonna do some measurements now. The diameter should be 39 without the crown. 39, a little over to 39. That's what I usually get. The lug to lug, someone told me it's very important to measure that. I usually forget, but now I did not. So lug to lug in this is about 44.2 is what I'm getting there. The thickness is should be 13.6 is what I usually get. 13.6, 13.5, 13.6. The lug width should be 18, exactly 18. About 18 is what I usually get when I measure this. 18 for the lug width. The width at the clasp is usually 16. And those are the measurements, guys. So this is just some lume shots. You can see how it looks at dusk or twilight, kind of. Where there's a little bit of sunlight, a little bit of light. So you can see how the lume starts to get bright. It's not the best lume I've ever had, but it's sufficient, I think. Considering the watch is 20 years old, it's probably one of the oldest watches I've owned. It has good lume. Decent lume. You see how the indicators light up and the hands light up. The second hand does not light up at all, so it makes it hard to read, but you can read the main time. When we look at the Mark 40 watch, we have to think back to 3 eras in Omega's watchmaking history that influenced the engineering and design of this amazing watch. The first was the Speedmaster Moonwatch evolution in the 50s and 60s. Then in the 70s, we had the Speedmaster Automatic Revolution. And in the 80s, we had the Holy Grail and Reduced Speedmasters. In 1942, we had the first Omega chronograph that paved the way for the Omega Speedmaster watches that followed. And these were reference 321 watches, sub 40mm dials. And here we have the first Omega chronograph, 1942. They kind of look like this. These were 32 to 39mm cases, all hand-wound movement, beautiful watches. And these were reference 321 movements that later became the reference 861 down the line. The first Omega Speedmaster was this racing or motorsport-inspired watch by design. It had symmetrical subdials and broad arrows, and this was about 39mm. The next 39mm watch was the Omega Speedmaster. This is like a second edition, the first watch in space. That's the importance of this watch. And this had the 3 subdials, and here it's worn by Wally Schirra in 1962 on a Mercury mission, and he wore it outside his suit, so it's really cool. The Speedmaster Professional, which paved the way for the reference 861, was this watch, the iconic moon watch, which was worn on the moon by Buzz Aldrin. That was a 42mm beast of a watch. Really good watch, and the current designs look like that today, that moon watch body. And here Buzz is wearing outside his suit on the moon. In the 70s, we had the Speedmaster Automatic movement with the Mark III, Mark IV, and Mark V watches that all used asymmetrical subdial and introduced automatic movements for the chronograph. This was the Mark III in 1971 that used the Calibre 1040 movement. It just had the 2 subdial and date display window. And it used the Calibre 1040 which was an integrated chronograph, automatic chronograph at the time. In 1974, Omega updated to the Mark IV, which used a 1045 chronograph. It had the 3 subdials, 12, 9, and 6, and a date display with a day of the week at the 3 o'clock position. Here, it was using the 1045 caliber at the time. And in late 1980s, we have the Maddox Holy Grail that brought about a bit of change in Omega, as well as the Speedmaster Reduce. And those watches did 2 things for the company. Here is the Maddox watch, and what this showed was the professional moon watch body could be used to house different movements. And this was housed in the Mark IV caliber 1045 movement in a moon watch body, and it was amazing. It looked really brilliant. Asymmetrical subdials, date display, day of the week. Very practical watch. The Speedmaster Reduced was 39 millimeter wide and 12 millimeter thin. So it showed that Omega could shrink the moonwatch body and make it thinner. So here it's next to the Professional and the Automatic Reduced. So you see the 39 millimeter next to the 42 millimeter. And it showed that Omega was paving the way for new things. In the 1990s, the Speedmaster Classics was a revolution that brought about change in the materials used for the watches as well as the movement. Omega started using the Valjoux 7751 and 7750 movement as well as sapphire crystals. Here is one of the Speedmaster Classics. And these were similar to the Mark IV watches in an asymmetrical subdial. And in 1996, we have our Mark 40 that we're reviewing here. And that kind of looked like the Maddox Holy Grail. It had the same kind of design. And that's how this watch came about. That's the history of this watch. A lot of history in this watch, and you have to discuss that before reviewing the watch. So guys, my history with this watch begins in the mid-2000s when I had a Nighthawk, a Citizen Nighthawk, and I was working, saving up enough money to buy a nice watch. And I tried on the Moonwatch a couple of times. The 42 millimeter case was perfect for me, even though it was a tad smaller than my 44 Citizen Nighthawk at the time. But I looked at pictures and tried it on. The Moonwatch wasn't really, something was missing. But then I saw pictures of this watch online, and I realized this was the watch that I wanted. The triple date watch, the symmetry, the way the Omega logo is on at the 3 o'clock subdial was just different, and it was just a different watch at the time, and I really liked it. Very simple. When I first held this watch at a local watch store in New York, I was shocked at how tiny this watch was, and it kind of got turned off from it because I was wearing big watches at the time, and I kind of forgot about it, walked away, ended up just wearing Citizen watches for the last 10 decades or so. And it wasn't until recently in 2014 when I kind of thought about this watch again and was like, you know, I'm going to go and get my Speedmaster. And I'm glad I did. So let's see what was so great about this watch and what's still great and what makes this a perfect watch, I think, the most complete watch. There's 5 positives and 5 negatives. If you really want to nitpick, 5 things you could complain about. So first and foremost, the build quality in this watch is really great. Omega's using a sapphire crystal. There, the steel is stainless steel, but it's a 315 surgical grade steel with polished and matte finish links. It looks great. The only thing that will pick up scratches easily is these black bezel ring here. It picks up scratches a little bit easy, but overall the build quality is really great. It's a very sturdy watch. It might be tiny at 39 millimeter, but it's a beefy watch. The bracelet number is a 1562 and a 850/850, and it's a really great bracelet as well. The quality of this bracelet, like I said, it might not be the biggest, bulkiest bracelet, but it's very solid and well made. So overall, it is Omega, so you are going to get good quality with the brand there. Next and foremost is the Moonwatch design is just timeless. I can't say much about it. You either love it or you love it. I don't think anyone hates the design of the Moonwatch watches. It's a beautiful watch. It looks good. The Mark 40 specifically is a rare kind of version of the Moonwatch, and I like that it's rare. You might see a lot of, you could walk into a room where like 20 people wearing Omega Speedmaster Moonwatches, and maybe 1 or 2 will be wearing a Mark 40 Moonwatch or style. Next up, it's practical and real easy to put this watch on. It's easy to set, easy to read, and easy to wear. And it goes under the radar a lot of the times because it is a 39mm case. So the only people that will recognize this is Speedmaster enthusiasts. They'll see this and know immediately it's a Mark 40, and they'll know what watch it is. But if you're not familiar with the brand Omega and you're a Rolex or, you know, Patek Philippe's, then it will probably pass under the radar for a non-watch connoisseur person. So the watch is real easy to set. I actually have this pulled out so the dial won't move. But to set the watch, you just pull that out twice, and then you just turn the dial like that. Real easy to set. There is a 24-hour indicator right there. When you set the watch, you want to focus on that. That will be the time you're setting. Basically, it's your AM PM indicator as well. Never set this watch between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. at night. I'm told it's in the booklet when you buy it, because it could mess up something in the movement. So never set this between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. going by that 24 clock indicator, 24 timekeeping indicator. To set the calendar time, and before I even get to that, I'll show you guys how easy it is to read this watch. So today is Wednesday, September 19th. So you have on the 12 o'clock sub-dial here, you have the day of the week and the calendar month and the calendar date there. On this extra hand on the dial, it has like a little airplane kind of tip. It looks like a little airplane or pilot's tip there, or GMT tip basically. So that will give you the calendar date, and this chapter ring inside the bezel is the calendar date of the month. So it goes from the 1st to the 31st. So that's how easy it is to read this watch. And you have the hour and the minute hand, as well as the second hand out sweep in there at the 9 o'clock sub dial. 9 o'clock sub dial also has the broad arrow for the 24-hour timekeeping indicator. So that's how easy it is to read this watch. And at the 3 o'clock sub-dial region, you have the Omega Speedmaster automatic sort of painted on. It's painted on, it's not glued on or anything like that. Everything's painted on the dial, which is a beautiful dial. And so to set the calendar date, you'd pull this out one click, and then you'd rotate the calendar. I believe it's towards your body, so you turn it towards you. And as the calendar month, the day of the month goes by, you'll see the month actually flips over to October. Real easy to set. I love that feature about it. So we set that over there for right now. Now to wind this watch, it is a manual winding movement, automatic wound watch. But you can manually wind it by turning the crown away from you. And it's that easy. The automatic movement on this watch is really good. The Valjoux 7751, it's set to be real easy to service. It's a smooth movement, very robust, very dependable. And that's what you get here. It's a really good movement. One more thing about the setting of the watch, to set the day of the week, like that says Wednesday, there's a button over here, a date corrector button. So you push that in with a paper clip or a safety pin, and that would just set the day of the week there. And that's independently set from anything else on the watch. So it's very interesting. The chronograph, actually, it's a very practical watch in that it has the chronograph, and it's a 12-hour chronograph. And at the 6 o'clock sub-dial here, you'll see a number 12 there. So it tracks chronograph time. It tracks time with the chronograph up to 12 hours, which is really cool. The 12 o'clock sub-dial here also has the chronograph 30-minute increments. So I'm going to start the chronograph. So it's very snappy, the pushers here. And whilst the chronograph is going, I'll just keep talking. The price of this watch is also another positive. It's my fifth positive thing. These are generally cheaper than all the Speedmaster manual wind watches. So these are generally cheaper than the older Speedmaster moon watches, and much cheaper than the newer coaxial Speedmaster automatic watches. So you get one of these, a nice range between $2,000 and $3,000 based on condition and what it comes with. The 5 bad things of this watch, I would say, is the service cost. Omega service cost, and I highly recommend just service this at Omega. Don't go to like a local place. Service of this watch is every 5 to 7 years, depending on how you use it, and Omega will charge at this time $750 to service this watch. So it is relatively expensive for the price of the watch, and $750 is a flat rate service for all Omegas. So if you buy a $10,000 Speedmaster or this a $2,000 Speedmaster, it's still the same $750 for this movement, for the chronograph automatic movements. Next thing, I wish the lume was more spread out. Like you saw the lume shots, only the hour, the minute hand, and the tip of the chronograph second hand, as well as the indices around the chapter ring. I wish there were lume maybe on the Omega logo on the chronograph minute and hour hands. I don't know. I wish there was just more lume around the watch. And I thought initially when you see this watch, you think there would be more lume. Next up, the bezel and button, like I said, is very easy to scratch this black bezel. And I feel the buttons, the pusher buttons here, they are snappy, they are springy and tactile, but it feels kind of shaky at times, and it feels like these buttons are set to fall off if you're not careful with them. The size could be small for a lot of guys at 39mm wide, so that could be a nitpick thing for most people. And another thing is the 30-minute increment of the chronograph. I wish that was maybe 60 minutes instead of 30. What it will do, it'll lap 30 minutes and then it'll start over again, you know, the later half of the hour. And you'll see the 12 o'clock indicator here go to the middle, and then it'll go to the first hour when the two 30-minute increments on the 12 o'clock subdial spins around twice. So I wish that was maybe 60 minutes, but I know Omega's been doing this style for years. So those are my basic things on this watch. The 5 negatives and 5 positives and 5 negatives. Really great watch overall. Like I said, it's easy to wear, and the positives far outweigh any negative things you could say about this watch. And the price on this is really, really great. So I'm going to stop the chronograph so you guys can see. So this upper pusher here stops the chronograph or pauses it. So you could also resume it if you want. And it's not a flyback chronograph, it's just a flip back, so it flips back really quick. It's not flyback. I might have mentioned this as a flyback chronograph in my previous videos, but it's not a flyback chronograph. And there you have it, guys. That is my brief review of this Omega Speedmaster Mark 40. Like I said, this video is less technical and more of a guide for people looking to buy this watch. Next up, I'm going to have photos of me wearing this watch, as well as an unboxing towards the end of this video with some bloopers at the end. And I highly dedicate this video to Chuck Maddox. His passion for these watches is what inspired me to do this video and put the information out there, because what Chuck realized and why he did his website is because there's not a lot of information on these amazing watches, and there should be more information out there for the public and for people watching this video, you know, so you can understand and appreciate what this is. Hey guys, the year is 1998. We just purchased our first Omega Speedy. Let's get it unboxed. It's a nice red gift bag. Get that bow off the top. Inside we have some goodies. And we have our a white Omega box with the watch. And let's get a closer look, guys. So this red booklet is just a brochure showing you watches of the time. My watch is from the late 90s, so we have my Mark 40 there. A little card that shows you kind of what you bought. Really cool. Some intel on the watch you just bought. Some other day dates and colors and materials. Speedmaster watches, celebrities, and some Seamasters, some cool watches of the late 1990s. Put that to the side. This gift box is just a brochure for the coaxials. It's just more booklets, more paperwork. Really cool stuff there. And let's get right to what we came for, the watch. So it's a nice white box. Remember that number 3, that's going to be important later on. We have the serial number of the watch. I'm going to show that. Model number and price. Reference number and price. Let's see what's inside. So we have our red box, really beautiful. Let's get this out. Let's free the beast. So a nice Omega medallion. It's metal on leather. The leather is really nice, red leather with stitching. Really nice box. Put that to the side there. And we have some more goodies in here. We have the operating instruction booklet, little pocket for that too. That's really cool. And remember that number 3? This is number 3, the third booklet. And it looks thick, but only the first 30 pages or so are in the language that you speak. In my case, it's in English. Put that to the side. And we have another Omega wallet, which is really cool for our cards. So this keeps our pictograms, warranty cards and stuff. And it has a nice Omega embossing. I like that. Hand stitched too. It's stitched. Leather, it's ivory. It's not really white. And these pictogram cards are really cool. They show you what the watch is about. Reference number, caliber number, and some little diagrams describing the features of the watch. And this works with operating instructions 1 of 3. So that's why that 3 is kind of important. So make sure if you buy one of these online or used, the card, the wallet, the books all match up to the same number 3 or whatever number, you know, coincides with your watch. So inside the box, we have finally our watch. Beautiful Omega Speedmaster Automatic Mark 40. We get the tag showing you serial numbers and caliber number. So the price would have been in this, but it was removed. I like that. That's really cool. It's old school. And we have our beautiful Speedy, guys. Check that out. So thank you for watching. Bloopers. I'm gonna do a blooper reel next, maybe, if I have any blooper reels, and some other stuff at the end of this video. Thank you, guys. So hi, Dylan. One day this will be yours when you get older, but I'm sure you'd probably want an Apple Watch or something like that. So this is what the background noise is all about. It's just my baby boy. 4 months old, and he's already a little sensation. Hey, smile for the camera.